Now let's take a look at your personal branding framework in action. Remember, we start with the strategy brief. That's your goals, content, and targeting. It could be a long form piece of content where you're recording your mission. In this case, I recorded a 15-minute video inside a car because the idea just struck me. I wanted to talk about a particular topic. And that reflects something that I care about, and it reflects an audience that I want to be able to reach. I take that piece of content and I run it through asset production. How do I chop it up into little pieces of video? How do I chop it up into tweets, into quote cards, into articles? And I run that through Fiverr, as you can see here, to be able to create lots of derivative assets. The beauty is that it took me just 15 minutes to build one asset when I was inspired to be able to create 15 or 20 pieces of content, as you can see from these particular gigs. And then I take that and I want to distribute that. So we take those snippets and we put 1-minute videos out there on Facebook. We take highlights and we put those out as tweets on Twitter. We take the transcribed video into text and put it on LinkedIn and turn it into derivative blog posts that we then syndicate to other places. When we put it on these other channels like a Medium, people start to engage, start to comment. Their feedback in turn drives more content. And that allows me to create more derivative content. More people are reaching out. They want to talk to me about it. They want to put me on their podcast. And then you can see the personal branding framework, your personal brand manager starts to build more and more momentum as you go through these different phases. And lastly, the amplification phase is where we're taking our winners of the many pieces of content we're putting out there on many different channels and trying to get more out of what's working. We call that throwing fuel on the fire. So let's say that you have 10 different tweets and one tweet performs better than the others. I might put $1 a day against that tweet to be able to collect more feedback. And as I start to collect positive mentions, I start to come up with more ideas, then that generates more content that I'm going to put into my personal brand manager. And that's the beauty of following this process where you move from the strategy brief to asset production, to distribution, to amplification. Because nowhere along this line did I have to personally get involved. All I had to do was make those initial pieces of content, send the signal into the system, and then the machine was able to pick up and handle all those other pieces. Imagine anytime you have an idea, some kind of thought, some sort of inspiration. You're taking a shower and you thought, wow, this would be a really good thing to talk about. I really could write a book about that. And all you have to do is put 15 minutes into producing that piece of content, and then you let the personal branding machine do the work for you through these Fiverr tasks. That's what I want to see you start to get into the habit of doing.